Welcome to High Oracle's Reiki Spiritual Healing Channel. And before we get started, this is a client edition. And before we get started, then I have to let you know that a lot of you need to understand that what you have gone through in your life, it is setting you up for something bigger. It is setting you up for you to be able to use certain skills that other people could not get through. And a lot of the times when I'm giving people these examples, where I couldn't stand on the block, I had to go to Buckhead, where there was a different type of people, those people who were used to something in their life, who wasn't in competition with me. So when you have to go through those types of things in your life, God is setting you up for something different. You're learning a different type of skill, that is hard to catch a moving target. So, if you don't fit in, then God will give you a place where you can fit in and feel comfortable at. And I hope that you receive the first part of this message. So this is my client edition, and let me see here, because I had to write it down because this is a lot to unpack. And this brother, and again, he's having problems with his immediate family, and his mother is in competition with his wife. And so, the mother was doing things in his life like he was still a child. She would come over to the house and, tell the daughter-in-law how to wash his clothes, what kind of food. She would try to, throw out the food that the wife had made. She would redo the children's hair. Okay. So, and this is his first marriage. And, the kids are very young. So hopefully they won't remember this type of drama. So, he reached out to me because his wife finally got fed up with it. And, he was telling his mother that she needs to, back off, that she needs to, chill out. And she was insistent on, trying to run his life. So it got to the point where his wife left him and went to, one of her family members' house and told him that he needed to have a conversation with his mother, or she wasn't coming back. So this is when this brother reached out to me, and he doesn't want me to use his name. And I understand why. And, I told him that, when we are chosen ones, especially for you chosen one men, you're going to have to set those boundaries. You're going to have to set those boundaries with your parents, because they are sabotaging your relationship. 333, as I'm saying that. Okay. And then you're finding out that, when your wife has left you, then you're not able to handle all of the responsibilities, and your mother is very old and she's not able to handle all of the responsibilities with the children. And in many cases, in this case, the mother disappeared after she had did the damage of running the daughter-in-law off. Okay, so right now, we have to make sure that we're cleansing this situation. So we are understanding that the mother has sent them a breakup spell, has used breakup spells in his life before, that she has done this before with girlfriends in his life, that he could not have someone in his life because of his mother. And he had never set boundaries. And so now he's having to correct this issue in his life where his mother, and he was telling me that he knew that his mother was using magic, at the time he was at home with girlfriends, that she did not want him to be with anyone. that she wanted to be the only female, and he give her everything. This is the way that she thinks, and he believes that she was sending breakup spells, and this is what is going on. When the wife left, she disappeared as well after he did not set the correct boundaries. I understood that he spoke with her, but you have to be very forceful sometimes and tell people, your family members, to get out your business, go home, do not come over here, do not, what I'm saying, disrespect my wife. Very simple. Okay, so when you're not setting the correct boundaries in the correct tone, the forcefulness that you should, then that type of spell is going to go forward if you know your mother to be that type of spiritual practitioner in order to attack the people that's in your life. Okay, so knowing this and not setting the boundaries, that is making the spell even more forceful in your life, which is trying to uproot your wife, so that and you're finding out, and this is what he's finding out, that he's going to be left alone with their kids. He's going to have to go to the schools, the meetings, the soccer practice. He's going to have to go to the grocery store, fix the food, make sure that they wash, comb hair, because the mother has disappeared once she has done her job of breaking them up. And so now we are removing that spell, removing that spell, and the mother has gotten, in a space where she doesn't want to come to his house. She's had to deal with her own marriage, her husband. She didn't want to stay there with, his father. He's elderly, he's sick, and she didn't want to have to deal with that. She's been given that notice. She's given that boundary, and that cleanse that I gave him to break that spell, to break that breakup spell that she's been sending to him. It has set a boundary, a spiritual boundary with her. She's unable to come to their house and carry out those malevolent acts. And like I say, if you knew that your mother was using black magic and different types of spell when you were younger at the house, then we're going to have to cleanse you out. And when we started to cleanse him, then we also found out that we set a spiritual boundary, of her trying to control his finances. So this is what she wanted to be in the place of the wife in his life, in his eyes. She was trying to blind him and get the money that the wife and that she was getting, to get the house and the car that she was getting. And overall, she could not perform the duties of the wife. And this is what we had to discuss. This is what I let him know. And now that we're cleansing this type of negative witch out of his life, and it happens to be his mother, we're cleansing this female out of his life. His wife has come back. And this happened in February. His wife has come back since February. They're happier. We've set that boundary. He's been able to tell the mother the truth and set that boundary with her. And the mother has to, take care of her own business with her own husband, instead of trying to run his life and run off the daughter-in-law that's in his life, his wife. So, when we set these types of boundaries, and we have people that's ready to set those boundaries and carry through with making sure that they set the spiritual boundaries, then this is how we are able to see that backfire, that she has to go and deal with her own situation, that, whatever money and control that she was trying to have, that spirit has ultimately gone back and returned to sender in order to let her know that you can't do what my wife does. You can't have her position, because you raised us. You raise your family. It's my turn to raise my family, and I have to set that authority, that boundary in front of my kids, so that, you know, they don't see you disrespecting me or my wife, me in my house. I'm not a child anymore. Okay. And a lot of us need to go through that type of situation. And when you're dealing with a spiritual narcissist, that makes it that much harder, because they're going to use that spirit that they've hired to control you in order to shut your mouth. And so now that that spirit has to go back, you know, they're not able to do the things that they once were. They're not able to move around the way that they once were. They have to sit down somewhere and tend to their own responsibilities, and tend to their husband, their wife, you know, and possibly the other siblings that she was using these methods on. But usually the spiritual narcissist is really greedy, and they will only target the child, the golden child, that they think that they can siphon their energy, that will have the money. Okay, so this is how we understand, and we set these types of boundaries with our parents, to let them know that you're not going to attack and separate and control my life. And we set a spiritual boundary, and you'll ultimately see that that person has to go and take a seat in their own life. They're going to have to take a back seat to your wife, to your lifestyle, to what you want, when you set those spiritual boundaries, when you tell them the truth, when you set boundaries in your life for your family members, mothers, fathers, people with titles, period. Okay. And this could be for male or female. Okay, so I wanted to give you this client edition so that you would have this understanding of some of the cases that I'm working on, and how some people will try to manipulate their children or the situation in order to gain control and mastery over you, your kids, and it ultimately will become a generational curse if you do not set boundaries and spiritual boundaries. And I hope that you receive this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. You can book your one-on-one life coaching sessions. You can book your consultations so that I can acclimate a gift to your situation. Donate to my channel. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.